So hi, my name is Pearce. I want to describe the Enneagram personality types. This is what I do for a living. Let's start with type 1. We have all 9 types in us, but 1 is much more dominant, and it's more of an automatic way that you think and operate. So type 1 is a perfectionist. As a perfectionist, I want to do things right. There's a right way and a wrong way, and I tend to focus on how I can be correct and fit my ideals and do the best I can. I get upset if I can't do things perfectly, and if I make mistakes. I can also correct you. My good qualities are I do things well, with detail. You can count on me to edit things well. I often can be a really good editor, etc. So let's look at type 2. Type 2 is the helper, and this is the type that my identity is focused on helping people. Whether you want help or not, I tend to help people that I want to connect to personally. So I notice what you need. I tend not to focus on my needs. I focus on your needs, and I really want you to appreciate me and make me feel loved and special. So in a sense, all the types are looking for love by doing or overdoing one thing. And for here, it's helping, and I typically am very, very kind of positive and upbeat. So type 3 is the achiever, and I'm very much like the United States. It's all kind of glitz and glitter. I want to create a really positive impression. I want to accomplish things and it's more about speed and efficiency differently than the one who wants to do it right. I want to win, and I tend to be competitive, and if there's a few mistakes, it's not necessarily so bad. So it's all about that. I tend to be kind of positive and upbeat too, and my image is really, really important to me. Type 4 is the romantic or the depth seeker. I tend to like to be deep. I want to experience things deeply. I tend to be romantic, emotional, very into aesthetics. I tend to be artistic and creative, music, poetry, drama, dance, theater. I can intensify or exaggerate things, at least from others' perspectives. Whatever I feel in the moment, I tend to be with that. So I might be happy one moment, and 10 minutes later I could be really sad. So I honor my emotions. I tend to be a bit dramatic, even if it's just inside. Type 5 is the observer thinker. My focus is on knowledge and intellect. I tend to be detached. I step back and I observe things. I'm a really good observer. I want to learn things, so I'm not typically don't show a lot of emotion. I tend to be private about my personal life until I know you well. So my focus is on knowledge, information. I'm often into scientific things like astronomy. I can be really creative too, but the lead is to be objective and knowledge-oriented. The type 6 is the security seeker or the questioner. So the security seeking is like, I notice danger, what could go wrong. I prepare and plan for worst case scenarios. I want to know what's going to happen in advance. I usually have 5 or 6 backup plans. I'm anxious and worried about things that could go wrong. I question everything. That's one of the other titles. In my mind or outwardly, I question everything because I'm trying to look for the truth. I know people often like to impress, but I'm not looking for that. I'm looking for what's truthful underneath the surface. So I'm going to always search for to explore what's below the surface. Okay. The 7 is the optimist. So I'm always positive. I don't like to deal with negativity. I don't like negative people. I can acknowledge something that's difficult or painful, but I'll focus on it at the most for maybe 15 minutes, and I want to focus on what's positive or a positive spin or it could have been worse, for instance. I like to have fun. I tend to be adventurous. I'm very much into changing things, risk-taking. it's got to be fun and exciting. I tend to be a little manic, okay? And I always like to have a good time. So parties, I tend to be social, etc. In the type, the type 8 is called the director, or the boss, or the person in charge. I tend to focus on leadership. I tend to be a leader. I don't like to follow. I want to be in charge. I can be a bit loud. I can be controlling. I tend to take over. I can be a bit my way or the highway. So the growth for my type is to step back and let other people lead, and sometimes be a follower. And type 9, in a sense, wears all the hats. They can wear any of these hats. Peacemaker, you see the little peace symbol here. So the focus is on creating peace and harmony, avoiding conflict. So there's a major focus on avoiding conflict. I tend to not go after what I want. I tend to kind of go along with you, at least in the beginning, and then if I don't like what you do, I tend to resist or avoid. I often am not that assertive or speak up. So the growth here is to be more assertive. So in a sense, every type needs to be a bit the opposite of itself to balance. I tend to be laid back, easygoing, but inside I can have a lot of stress and upset and anger that's hidden. Let me tell you a little bit about the growth for each type, which is the opposite. So the growth for 1 is to be a bit more imperfect, and to let things be, and to not always have to do things exactly right. And if I make a few mistakes, so what? Mistakes is a learning process, so I need to learn to relax and be more, a little more laid back. The 2, as a helper, I need to help myself and focus on my own needs, not just yours, and be selective in my giving, which I can be, but I tend to get over-involved, and I tend to control helping people whether they want it or not, so I need to make sure I have agreement around that. The type 3, the achiever, as an achiever, I need to also fail at times and see that that's part of life, and learn from that, and to not always have to be the winner and compete, and not always have to impress or create the perfect image, to let myself be vulnerable and accept my limitations. The 4, I can be dramatic. I can be too dramatic as the depth seeker and the romantic, and kind of be over emotional. So I need to be more objective and in the middle, and not have such highs and lows. So, but enjoy that too. And because if you're too intense, people sometimes might back off. As a 5, I tend to be objective and a learner. I need to share more personally about myself. I need to show my emotions and tune into that part of life more, not make everything about life learning. The 6, I need to see, since I focus on security, I need to focus more on accepting things that are okay and positive, and not always be looking for danger, and not question everything. Of course I'm going to question, but just to accept things and realize that I can't always count on people totally, since I tend to be very loyal to people when I trust them, but I typically go back and forth between trust and mistrust, so I need to have a little more trust in life itself. As a 7, who I tend to be very positive and optimistic, I need to at times see that pain's part of life, and to let that be a very normal part of life, and to maybe stay with things more for a longer period. I tend to do this and that, and kind of not hang in there when things are difficult. So it's good for a 7 to hang in there and complete things and go a little deeper with things. As an 8 boss, I need to be more vulnerable and show my weakness more, and not to always have to be in charge. And as I mentioned for a 9, the 9 peacemaker needs to be more assertive and self-oriented, and express what they want as a person. So that's basically it. Let me mention, if you want to learn more about my workshops, I've been teaching Enneagram workshops for 25 years. My website is herbpearce.com, HERBPEARCE.com. My phone is 781-648-3737. I do individual, couples, and family counseling, particularly with a focus toward relationship dynamics and ways to improve that and understand the type differences and ways to effectively relate. I also do phone and Skype sessions around that, personal growth, relationships, and also typing by phone. So thanks for listening. I hope you have a great day, and keep going with the Enneagram.